Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome to your art class. Today, we're going to design a city in the future. And we're going to think about what would make a perfect city. So this kind of builds upon what we learned about architecture, because you can see there's a lot of creative architecture. So you made a drawing of a building, you can use some of that for this project, but there's more to it. It's not just architecture, it's putting those things we learned together into a big picture. So we're thinking about a city in the future and what would make a perfect city. So you're going to have to think about, what does a city need to work really well? And you're also going to think about, in the future, we're going to assume things have gotten way, way better in the future. So what kind of things are there in the future that have made life better, cooler, easier, more interesting, just more awesome? And we're going to add those things to our city. And this also can kind of help you think about, what kind of world do you want to live in the future, right? So here we have some really fun examples. We've got spaceships flying around, some really weird, crazy looking buildings. We've got roads and different kind of cars. This one's got some little bubble houses that are up in the clouds and funny little flying buses and car things. So there's so much possibility of what you can do with this project. And I want you to also keep in mind, I don't want you to copy anything exactly, okay? I want you to come up with your own ideas. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put my screen right about here, okay? And I'm going to be drawing a building, or drawing a little futuristic city of my own. And you can do this any way you like. You can use a pencil first. That's usually what I would recommend, is to use a pencil first. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to use a marker so that you can see it really well. So let me actually grab a marker. Okay, and you can either draw along with me, or you can watch what I do and then make yours afterwards. There's different ways to do it. This one has kind of buildings right next to each other. This one has a really cool effect where there's like buildings kind of layered and going back. So what you would want to do with something like this, you draw the buildings in the front first, because those are the ones that are, in the front of the other ones. And then you draw the other ones going back behind. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to kind of let my imagination wander. I'm going to just start with kind of an interesting shape for a futuristic looking building here. Where, the buildings are all about shapes. In fact, I'm just going to start with some really cool shapes. And then I'm going to add the details later and think about, what are these buildings for, or what do they do a little bit later. And you can get some ideas from looking at the pictures. I don't want you to copy anything exactly, but you can definitely get some ideas. And that's what I'm doing. I'm seeing some cool, interesting shapes from some of these buildings, and not copying them, but taking ideas from them. So I've got a couple really interesting looking buildings here. That's cool. Okay, so I'm being really creative in making a new futuristic city. I've got some buildings in the front. And, I'll add like some details, like you can add lines around the edges just for decorations. We can add like, different kinds of windows, like different shaped windows is always a good thing. One thing I like to do for windows, to make it look like a window, I'll just draw like 2 lines going across like that, and maybe like 1 or 2 lines going the other way. Just kind of some diagonal lines like this, and it gives it it looks like a shine. Isn't that neat? Not too much. Don't overdo it. Just a couple of lines. Yeah, and I'm, just adding little details. This one. Okay, so now as I'm adding the details, I'm going to start getting imaginative. Okay, so this, you know what this building is? This is energy. Okay, so like in the future, instead of burning coal, because burning coal is not so good for the environment, we've discovered a new energy source, and that's what this building is for. And this little hole here has the energy inside there, and it's kind of harvesting the energy. Okay, and then it has this little tower up here, which can transmit the energy wirelessly. So everybody can have, energy to power everything in their homes. That's a cool idea. And I'll add like little cables going up and around the building, but also some windows because it's also an office. This is where this is the energy company. And then the sign on top is going to have an old-fashioned light bulb to show, yeah, there's our energy company. So I'm thinking about, how does my city have energy, right? Maybe this building is like a rec center. It's a place where people play. Because I would like in the future for there to be places where kids can go and play if they don't have anything to do, right? And maybe on the roof we can have like a little trampoline park. Wouldn't that be fun? So here I'm putting some trampolines up on the roof, and we'll have some kids kind of jumping and playing, because I think kids should have places to play. And here's like maybe a basketball hoop, but it is the future, so this is like trampoline basketball. That's what I'm going to say. This kid's doing a major dunk off of this trampoline. And they also have some that are really high up if you want to get crazy with it. See, I'm having fun. I'm being imaginative, but I'm also like thinking about what I want the world to be like in the future. I want it to be playful. I want it to have good, clean energy, right? So as far as the buildings, if you want to make it like this picture here where the buildings are going back, I've drawn some buildings in the front. Now I can draw some behind. So like if I have one behind, it's going to start here. And let's see, I'll give it kind of a, I don't know, just giving it a weird roof. I don't know what that is. And then it's just like, it goes down and then it stops when you run into another building. You see how I did that? So it looks like it's behind here, okay? And we'll give it some other weird things on the roof too. I don't know what those are, but there they are. And then I'll add a building like this. And look, it just kind of goes right behind. I stop when I hit that other building, so it looks like it's behind there. And I can still add the details, adding cool designs, because that's part of being an artist, is adding designs, not just making it so that it's going to work really well, but making it look cool too. Okay, so this is what makes it look like a city, is that there's like so many different buildings, and they're all kind of layered and going behind each other. This is like an idea I'm taking from a building I see in the picture, but I'm doing it my own way too. I don't know what this is, some kind of futuristic technology. It just looks cool. I'm probably, when I go back and add the details, I'll make some stuff up for what that is. And then I see a building has like a sign on the side. That's kind of a cool idea. With maybe there's a new language in the future. Here's what this language is. You ready? This is a universal language. So everyone speaks their own language. We have people that speak English and people that speak Spanish and Chinese. But along with that, maybe our schools could teach a language that everybody knows, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Not that we would get rid of the other languages, but we could add a language that everybody knows how to speak. Wouldn't that be really cool? Universal language, that's what my city has. So once again, I'm coming up with things that I think would be really cool in the future, all right? You know what, I'm going to make this. This is going to be a launch pad, so you can this is going to be like a travel tube. Maybe people can go through tubes to travel. Instead of like having to take buses and stuff, you could just go in a tube and just go like zoom, and it'll take you to where you want to go, just with like air pressure or something. So that's what this is. This is a travel building, and I'm going to have all different kinds of tubes going all over the place. So my building isn't going to have flying cars, or my city's not going to have flying cars and stuff like that. It's just going to have tubes, okay? Because hopefully that will use less energy and can be better for the environment. That's how I'm designing my city. That's probably a good thing to think about if you're designing a future city is, well, how can we make this good for the environment, right? How can we make it so that it's a little cleaner and maybe safer? What's something that makes a city safe? Think about that kind of thing. Let's see, what else can we do? I'm just going to start adding details into this building. This is going to be a computer building. So there's this building, I'm giving it like little circuits, kind of like computers have inside. And I'm going to say this building is actually a giant computer. Okay, so I'm going to add fans on the side because computers have cooling fans. And this is like what this does is this is like a big server. So this stores information for the internet for everybody in the city to use. So everybody in the city can have really good internet. And it's also going to have, up here, big satellites to transmit the internet all over the city. So everybody can have access to the internet all over the place. See? So cool ideas. We're thinking of, really good, happy thoughts for the future, things that would make the world a better place. So I would love to see what your future city looks like, okay? I'm going to keep drawing, though, for a little bit. And you can get some ideas from me, but you twist them and make them your own way, okay? So you can get some cool ideas, copy a few styles, but do it your own way. I want this to be your city, not my city, okay? And if you're stuck, just do what I did. Just do weird shapes. Come up with, stories and meaning for them a little later if you're stuck. Start with weird shapes and it will come to you. Your creativity will start working. Just keep adding little details and things. This will be an office building with lots of windows. So it has lots of jobs. I'd like people to have jobs in the city. Okay. And you know what I'm going to have? I'm going to have little robot drones that fly around. This is like a drone robot. And he has like a broom and a little dustpan. And he's going to clean up the city and make sure there's no trash in the city. Okay. I probably could have put like a sidewalk down here. You could add a sidewalk to your city. Mine is kind of looking up a little bit, so you can't quite see. But there's a sidewalk down here, and if people make a mess, this guy's going to clean it up. Oh, what's a cool idea that I didn't do is you can make a restaurant, or like how do people get food in your city, right? What kind of food do they eat, and how do they get it? You could do a whole building or even your whole picture could all be like the restaurant district. It could be all the different foods that they eat in the future and how people get food. Because we don't want people to be hungry in the future, right? We want people to be able to get food. So come up with a way that we can give everybody some food so that nobody's going to be going hungry. These are the types of things we want to be thinking about for our future is what we want. If somebody is hungry, what are we going to do for them and how can we help them? Because we don't want people to be hungry. I would like a future where we care about everybody and try to take care of each other. That's what I would like. I hope that you want something like that too. That's looking pretty cool. So you can see I really layered my buildings and they're just all over the place. That's kind of what makes it look like a city. But yours can be a little more spread out like this one too, or even like this one. Over here they drew them a lot smaller and they have little bubbles to grow plants inside. So you do it however you want. It doesn't have to look like mine. I like that this one has some planets because it's like it's in space, but I want mine to be on Earth. So I'm just going to do clouds. Clouds. I like to think that, we can make this work here on Earth. We're just going to make things better and better. There's clouds, maybe the moon. And then, you know what? I'm going to draw lots of spaceships because we do go out into space. I'm going to say, yeah, we go out into space. Maybe I'll draw a flying saucer like, yeah, we went out into space, we found some aliens, and guess what? They're really cool. They just kind of chill with us and bring us alien snacks. And we're friends. Okay? So that's my future city. I could really spend a lot of time coloring this and stuff. So yeah, you do that how you want. You can definitely color it. I really would like to see what you come up with for this project. I want to see what your idea for the future is. So you can go ahead and send me pictures if you want. You don't have to, but you definitely can. All right. So just review of our learning targets. Design a city in the future. Think about what would make a perfect city. Okay. Well, that was really fun. This was a fun drawing. I hope you have just as much fun as I did with it and get your mind thinking about the kind of world that you want to live in and how we can make that happen. All right, everybody, take care. I love you all and keep making art. Bye-bye.